This video shows how to authorize somebody in an ASP.NET Core application in a web API or something else, and front end in Angular or whatever. What you see here is my application. That's a ASP application, written in .NET 6. And I have here a service controller, and in the service controller I want to do some, let's say, special work, correction and so on. And when I want to limit the access, the permission to that stuff, then I set here an authorize flag or attribute, called attribute at that point. And this means that you're only allowed to find this this method when you're logged in. So therefore I created now in my, that's the Swagger front end by default on ASP applications, which are also available in SPA front ends when you do a Angular or React or Vue application or even Blazor. Then you have a backend, and that backend that's the web API, and Swagger is a front end. Therefore, and in Swagger you will find, in the web API you find these methods which are available on that point, and by default there is when it's set up the right way, you find this authorize flag, and the authorize flag or tab means that you may log in there. So for my case, I went into my application where you also find the code for it. I said, okay, I have here the registration here, authentication. I said here I registered a new name, a new username, test, and with a label, and let's remember this password 123-test. I added it, and after I said here I test, and then I push the execute button, then it was created. So and in my database I found after this my my test database entry, and I added here in my roles my my attributes. So, and these attributes, okay, go on. We may test this now, and when I want to go to this method, I have to log in, and therefore when I want to test it, I find this method here under service, and I may test it. And you see this small tab in there, so I have to say, okay, I want to authorize, and therefore I have to write into the header of that method a value. That's difficult. It's difficult. You can't. How may you write something in there? So Swagger has the ability to set in this value there, and so you may do the login, and when you log in into that, then you will get the result either by in here or in here when you're registering. And then you find here this the token, and inside the token there's the encryption, which roles you have. So you may copy that token. All what you need is you have to copy that token. Then you go to your method or your endpoint where you want to do some work, and then you say, my dear endpoint, I'm registering in here. So now I say here, you have to say authorization something, and you have to say it's a JWT bearer token. So you say here bearer, and then you add the token. That's what you do. You add that token, and inside the token, there's encrypted your rights. There's the encryption on which roles you are admitted. Okay, so now when I push the button and say, okay, I want to try it out, I'm executing it. When I push that button and want to do a service function in the background, then when I push it, then the service endpoint comes in here. Otherwise, this attribute says if you're not authorized, if you're not logged in, you will never reach that endpoint. And that's the the method, the endpoint, the URL where you're going to, and you only reach this when you're logged in. When you say authorize and then open bracket roles equals service, then in your roles, in your code behind, you have to see have the tag service. Now I'm going on, and I may do the authorization here by http context.user. That's automatically done. That's a method which gets the user of the current request. And this is integrated in an ASP.NET Core. And there you say find first, and then you find the roles of this stuff. When I hover above this and say Shift F9, then we have, let's see, where is it? Then you see that's the user where, sorry, that's the user which is entered. And you see here the user has, that's the user, and here that's the identity, and that's always the same. Even if you're in Azure AD, and then you find your rights where you are, and there should be somewhere your, let's see, where is it? Number 3, that's number 2 here, that's the claims role, claims test, claims name, and in here there's the claims, it's empty, shouldn't be empty. There's the name 1, let's see, name, let's see. Okay, I'm going on. I say, okay, give me the roles, and the roles is empty. That's wrong. For that point, that's wrong. For my username, what's the username? Maybe this is wrong. But normally there should be now this entry. Maybe I entered it too late. I would find now this admin, user, and service in there. I have to do some rework. Maybe if it's not here at the moment, this is when you either authorize, and you may only debug it if it comes to that endpoint. If you set this in here, then you have no chance to find it. Otherwise, when you do it in here and you say, okay, claims types role, then you will see, okay, under roles there should normally be those 3 roles. I can't show it at the moment, but then you do it manually, and after this you're able to do some, then you're able, now it says, okay, it jumped out and said you're not authorized, here's something, you have no rights. In this case, what I wanted to show there is that you have to set the authorize, and then here you will get the claims which are available on that point. And when you're logged in, and then you do some service function. The method for that is in the program. The program, you find this one. There's a big block which says, okay, here in Swagger you have that points, and this one adds in ASP the authentication, which says, okay, you have to log in. And after this, you are able to you set this this attribute, and then it hangs on there. So that's the point, and you have to set it with bearer, and this otherwise you will never reach that endpoint.